Whoa, are you serious? This, I wasn't looking forward to the summer anyway. It's crazy, folks. Yeah, we're alive, folks. But y'all know how I don't like heat. I'm already done with it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, I'm having a little technical difficulty with Instagram, unfortunately. That's probably just my, I should have went instead of Stark. I should have went with Wayne Tech. I know Wayne has like top of the line stuff. I should have known.
Yeah.
Should have known, man. Had the same issue, unfortunately, Monday, but it's cool. It's all right. It's straight. I'm getting y'all situated straight up. But look, we have got a lot going on. We have got some reviews. We've got some Kickstarter stuff. We have got some. What else we got? We got some events that we're going to be going to, and we have a bit of a take on the whole thing with the world to come and that whole. Just kind of. Y'all got to relax with this. Seriously. It's an interesting take because it's a perfectly Antonio take. That's the only way I can describe it. Folks, we've got everything. We've got superheroes. We've got sci-fi. We've got a video game. We have got people with rings. Actually, we have two comments with people with rings. Come to think of it. Oh, we have someone who has lightning coming out of their hands. It's a pretty full show. Robert, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. I was waiting for a third time, so I'm gonna be like, SpongeBob will be proud, man. SpongeBob will be like, yo, he's ready. I'm ready. Let's do it. All right, folks, let's go. Right? Yeah, sure. Are you sure? Are you all right? I'm making sure everything is okay because this computer has been like just kicking me all in the shins today, and I have no idea. You know what? We're just gonna do it, folks. Let's go. Yeah, everything worked properly. Hey, folks, what's up? This is the TBA News Comics Culture, presented by the Hungry Bleak channel. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the hungriest man in the room, and with me, as always,
Robert J. Ryder.
I thought you were saying Ryder because I was gonna be like, yo, Ride or Die. I didn't
Ride or Die. I write.
You say Ryder. I was like, yeah, for Ride or Die. I was like, oh, I like that. I was like, oh.
Right or die, right? There you go. I don't know.
Spice coming out of Robert. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like the temperature comes up and Robert's like, look, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done. Takes off his glasses. Man, I've been doing this BS for too long. I'm tired of y'all. Oh, that would have been such a cool reveal.
That would be amazing.
Oh my God, Robert just went heel. Jeffrey 316 says, I just whooped your ass. What?
Start carrying around metal chairs. Hitting people upside the head.
You got to come with them leg braces too, man. I think that's such an iconic image for some reason, isn't it? Like you would like if you see Stone Cold without the leg braces, it doesn't feel right now for some reason, which is weird, right? Is it?
Gotten used to it by now.
Yeah, like him, like, and the way that he walks down to the ring with the leg braces, like he's mad. He's got the leg braces on, so he's definitely about to open up a can of whoop ass on everybody in that ring.
He's frustrated. They forced him to walk down there to whoop their asses, right?
What is it? And then he gets in there and he's
well, that's why he drives down there and crashes into barriers nowadays.
I was about to say something, but I'm still trying to find that meme where it's like where they show him and he's at his podcast table and he's like, well, she started bumping around like it was 1986. I was like, well, hell, let's do the King of the Ring thing, man. Let's go ahead. I was crying at that meme because I could hear him saying, well, she started bumping around like it was King of the Ring. I said, yeah, let's go, let's do this. Oh man. Well, the fact that Nick Khan went down there was
amazing.
I was like, that's when you know it's
like, how many t-shirts do you want? How many t-shirts?
So a lifetime supply of Steve Weiser's Burning Skull. How does that sound? What's that? Oh, heartburn. Oh, then never mind. So many. Anyway, folks, look. Yeah. Because it's hilarious. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, folks. So we got a lot of comics. We got a lot of stuff to go on. So let's start up with DC Pride out of DC Comics. Folks, it's June. I said it to you on, I think I said it last Friday. I think I said it Monday. I'm going to say it today as well. Happy Pride Month. Beautiful time of year. Love it. Celebration. of the LGBTQ plus. I don't know all the letters, so I apologize. That's not a joke. I'm legitimately saying I don't know all this. I know there's so many different across the spectrum of identities and sexuality. So whoever you are, whatever you do, this is except for straight people. This is your month, and to spotlight you. And as always, during the month of June, we get the DC Pride comic. Now, this one is particularly special because we get the first writing credit of Jenny Blake. Now, if you don't know who Jenny Blake is who Tony Isabella now goes as when Tony came out as being transgender. So Jenny Blake is the first writing credit. I think that's incredible. It's phenomenal, and that's such an important thing for the person who started and created Black Lightning alone. Mm-hmm. Right there. So we get this story now. The Tony Isabella story is, excuse me, the Jenny Blake story is at the end, but we get this issue where it's just this. First off, I love the cover. The cover just had me Alan Scott, because Alan Scott had a mini series at the end of last year or the beginning of this. I want to say the end of last year. Okay. And it was really cool, and it was just this. I hadn't thought about Alan Scott really in years. Sometimes I do because I'm like, DCU, like I kind of wish they would bring it back. And it was a different Green Lantern. Like that was the first Green Lantern that really dealt with more magic. And it becomes about this story about all these characters who are celebrating Pride, and they're going to this wall and they're reading all the different names that are on there. Because it's like a speakeasy. So you have all of these characters during Pride going there, looking at the wall and seeing all the past loves. People who have all like put their initials on the wall, their hearts, and the lightning bolt or the arrow through, whatever you want to do. And it becomes a celebration of that. And it starts with Alan Scott telling a story about himself and one of his loves, his great love, which was actually part of that mini series that we got. And it goes from there with all these great characters. You're getting Robin, Tim Drake is in here. Huntress has a point with, but you start realizing that they're going through different dimensions, like these different portals, and they're all being sent there. And each of those dimensions is like their greatest wish, their greatest desire, their true happiness. Mm-hmm. And it's usually them with a particular partner. Like one of the stories is actually The Question, and they're in a nightclub and someone offers them a drink. Like one of their best friends offers them a drink, knowing full well that Montoya doesn't, excuse me, that Question doesn't drink anymore because there was a problem with alcoholism, which was just adds depth to that character. No. And then, they end up getting together with Batwoman, who they were in a relationship, very deep, loving, and really just one of those iconic relationships for me anyway. And she begins to realize that this isn't right. Something's not right. This person is dead. They shouldn't be here. And it goes through these different stories. Like you get like Green Arrow, and who's Connor Hawke, who I'm a fan of Connor Hawke. I always wanted to see this character get like more of a mini series recently. Now, I don't know if they're really being showcased now. I have no idea. Because I don't read everything DC, and I haven't read a Justice League title in quite a while. Need to do that though, unfortunately. But it just goes through all these beautiful characters, and at least I was introduced to a character named Ethan, who's transgender and going through all these different dimensions, and Ethan is the one constant, almost like a Time Lord, going different ways, but they're all being pulled through the portals and being brought to this speakeasy, and they all begin to figure out why they're being brought there. It has to do with magic and energy and the emotional impact and all the carvings in the wall. Not going to give you anything else there, but I just love the variations in art. So we even have Midnighter in a kind of 50s sitcom, which I loved, along with his husband. And it's just weird to see Midnighter, this very gruff, I'll kill everybody I can get within 3 moves, where usually take me whatever. This honestly killing machine in this 50s kind of sitcom setting in there. Yeah. They play with the different characters is really cool, and just the overall message of getting them all together. I normally don't like these types of things like DC Power and DC Pride, because a lot of times you get these incredible writers on there that they bring on like for one time a year, and
Yeah.
homogenize everything together. But my thought process in that is, okay, yes, they do that, but I also want to celebrate that they're getting these jobs. It's a big spotlight on them because it is DC, and I hope that they get other work from this because of that. So I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective. Sometimes it does annoy me, but then I also go, you know what? They're getting a bigger spotlight on them. I hope this turns into something more because I really enjoy this writer or this inker or this artist or this letter, whatever the particular task is. So I'm a fan of it. So DC Pride, yes, this is part of DC's. I don't know what I would call it. DC's because it's DC Pride and DC Power, but I think they somewhat like when I look through them, they kind of put them together in like
Yeah.
similar columns. So let's say the DC,
Anthology series or something like
yeah,
that.
all right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the DC Empowerment Anthology.
There you go.
I don't know. Thank you. You're welcome, DC. They're probably gonna steal that from me. I'm gonna be honest, they probably are. So yeah, so this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Congratulations to Jenny Blake. Like I said, that first writing credit under the name Jenny Blake is very important. It's very poignant, and that's a milestone right there. So congratulations.
I love it. I love it. I'll have to check that out, especially I like the idea of these stories being interconnected, but
Hmm.
each creative team having a separate, I guess, chapter or part of the book. So yeah, so because normally the anthologies, everything is standalone. So I like that idea. I like that
Yeah.
idea a lot.
I think they're starting to do that more with Power, making it an overall
Yeah,
arching thing, which I think is smart, especially when they want to bring in, if they're trying to do like Power Company,
yeah,
possibly maybe
yeah.
something like that. So I really enjoy this, and any chance I get to see, I'm starting to fall back in love with the question, and I
Hmm.
love her
Yeah.
interpretation of it. So anything with her figuring something out is just
Hmm.
cool for me. So yeah, totally on board with
Awesome.
that. It was definitely like it was for a lot of them, it was like a dream. But speaking of dreams, in our dreams awake, Robert.
Yes, yes. We're back. I reviewed the first issue a few episodes ago.
Mhm.
Go back, kids, and you rewatch the previous episode. But this is a series by John McGuire and Egg Embry, uh, both co-writers and co-creators of the series, featuring art by Edgar Salazar and Roland Canins. And it's a pretty stacked creative team, but the basic gist of this is that you have two stories being told about the same character in two different realities, and the character is Jason. I always get this wrong, but Jason Byron. And in one reality, he's living in this like kind of gritty cyberpunk ish London, where we have talking mer people, and basically these two groups of the humans and the mer people are in the first issue are coming to blows because something that's happened, and you have this kind of Jason is in this reality is trying to kind of squash the violence or squash this war that's about to erupt. So in the second issue, for the first part of the book, the first part of the issue, we see him going to the council and the council, and just to kind of show how, once again, trippy this part of the book is, it's a council of a man-sized talking crab and a cat, and so he has to basically squash this beef. He goes to them to squash the beef, and that leads to even more conflict. So it's not as easy as he wanted it to be. So you have that. So in the other world, and you also start to see or little clues that he is he is seeing this other world that is like is in his dreams. And in the second world, the other version of Jason Byron, we're still in this world where technology and magic is accepted. It's more of like kind of a medieval time or era, and but fantasy Tolkien-esque type of world, but also magic is accepted but technology isn't. So what happens is that this version of Jason Byron is falls more into, he basically runs afoul of the authorities of that world because they see him as being somebody that supports the just technology or technological pursuits or advances. And we see what effect that has on his family. But also we are still, starting to get those clues that each of these people are dreaming about the other, the other versions of themselves. So one of the things, so that's kind of like the basic, level, like kind of summary of the events that's going on, and how complicated things are continuing to get. But one of the things that is very masterful about this is just this parallel storytelling. So, half of the book is like one genre, the other half is another genre, and it just kind of works seamlessly because each character is involved in these, somewhat not comparable but conflicts, but also you're starting to see that elements of each of these worlds are also running parallel to each other outside of just him. So the plot device, or the device of the narrative device of having these, the same character dreaming about two different worlds, it's just working for me. And I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I've worked with John McGuire on projects, and Egg is a good friend, but I just like this, and especially as somebody who loves the idea of the multiverse and parallel universes and sci-fi. I co-host a podcast about it, where we recap Sliders. This is for me, it's an innovative take on that idea. And I think that in a world where superheroics usually gets kind of like the front billing for like everything comic book related, and we talk about it on the show, I'm also glad that there are options for books like this for people who want something that's different. And that's something we talk about on the show with plenty of other comic book series. So I think this is like a really good example of utilizing the medium of comics to tell a weird as heck story, but also that's something that's very interesting. But yeah, the second issue keeps things moving along pretty well, and I definitely recommend people check it out.
This is because excuse me, I remember you talking about this, and the whole drug dealer thing tripped me out.
Yeah.
But you tripped me out again this episode by saying a man-sized crab and a
Yeah.
cat, because the cat literally says paw him down, and I'm like, wait, what do you have? All right, yeah. So I think every time you talk about this comic, I think you're going to say something that I'm going to go, what? And I think you're holding back on me, which I appreciate, because you're like, Antonio's not going to believe this one. But I appreciate the fact of it, the way that you speak about it, almost because of how you could do anything.
Yeah.
It feels in a way like, not as far story wise, but just in the way that you could do anything because you have no bounds.
Mm-hmm.
The only bounds you have are the ones that you create, or no limits. Is oh my god, how can I forget the name of this comic? It's one of the biggest comics out there in Image. Outer Space. Staples is on it.
Saga.
Yes, thank you, Saga. It
Yeah.
sounds like that, in the sense of the only limitations we have are the ones we put on ourselves. We can do anything, go out there. So I love the fact, because I'm looking at the panel now where there's a gunfight and this cat's like paw him down.
Yes.
I'm like, wait, did you throw that in there as comedy? That's not, you can't say that in the middle of a gunfight. First off, a cat shouldn't be saying that at all. But it's just, but I love that feel of you don't know what you can get on the next page, but in a good way. It can always catch you off guard, and it makes the story just that more engaging, because you're like, oh, I'm interested in this, and this, but I'm also interested in whatever is going to come up in the next issue or the next arc or what have you. So that's beautiful, because it brings you in, it holds you, because you're there for that core story, but you're also there for whatever else can happen. And having that, and doing that with multiple stories too, like multiple parallel stories running, is not an easy feat. So that's definitely appreciated and very cool, truthfully.
Yeah, and special shout out to the art teams, because I love the changes in styles, in art styles, and each style fits the world that it's being presented very well, very, very well. But yeah, I highly recommend this. The first two issues are out. I gotta pester John and Egg about when the third issue is going to drop, but it's definitely worth picking up and giving a shot.
Yeah, that's something that is just like I said, that's so cool and very terrific. What else is terrific is Mr. Terrific, folks. That wasn't the best segue, but I still enjoyed it because
No,
it made me
it's
chuckle a
good.
little bit. It's fine. It's fine. So Mr. Terrific, year one. I like the year one comics, especially for characters that we've had for so long, because it gives you a chance to go back and kind of maybe tweak a little thing, maybe retcon a couple of things,
Yeah.
maybe kind of retcon it so you can make it more updated, so the character can have a, if you're going to be bringing the character along, like we're going to be getting Mr. Terrific in the Superman movie.
Mhm.
So whatever characters are in there, hopefully we'll be getting them, getting these maybe like mini series or event runs or what have you, which I like, or the maxi series, which is like usually like 12 issues for DC. DC has done a really great job of doing maxi series, which are 12 issues throughout, like one every month. So you're getting a series for a whole year, and it can be its own standalone story, or it can be a reinvention, a retcon, whatever it is. But we're getting, excuse me, we're getting ourselves a year one for Mr. Terrific, which I thoroughly enjoyed because it's not a character that I've read a lot of. Um, I like the fact that he gets annoyed by being called the third smartest man on Earth. I really enjoy that because I feel like, in relation to what? 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 I've always had this issue, and I'm like, in relation
Yeah.
to what? Because and I don't know, whatever. But this was really a really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the fact that we're, like I said, that we're going to be getting Mr. Terrific in the new Superman movie is going to be pretty cool. So because to see him on the big screen, we've got him on small screen in the Arrowverse, but now we're going to be getting, I think, a closer to comics Michael Holt.
Okay.
So this
Well,
tells the story of before he became Mr. Terrific. This is Michael Holt. This is after his wife has passed. And this is him showing, like the flashbacks of, this is what I've been through, this and this in my life. I've gone up against Darkseid, who I believe was the problem that was happening with the Watchtower.
okay.
Because there was a big thing with the challenges of the unseen or unknown. No, the unknown. I
No,
want to say,
so no.
the Queen. They brought the question up to the Watchtower because she was supposed to figure out what was going on. There's something here, and I can't figure it out.
Mhm.
But you can with your different eye. So this tells a story of before he became a superhero, but after his wife has passed. So you see him kind of in mourning. He's in the bed, doesn't want to get up. Just it shows that runs, like when you see him in his bed like that, when you think of Mr. Terrific, you don't think of him like this. So seeing him in his bed like that, stuff strewn all over the place, he gets up. He's got like the old school, like Larry Bird, Magic Jordan, like knee high
Yeah,
basketball
yeah.
socks on. He's got all that going, and you see that he's not in a good place, but he's still trying to work on technology. And you see the T sphere before it becomes the T sphere,
Okay.
and you're used to it flying around, and it just drops, and this hologram comes up because he's trying to do this like advertising thing for his for for this like a gym workout kind of thing.
Okay.
All the while, you see bits and pieces of where Mr. Terrific is going to come from. You see the tech. You see that he's obviously a genius, and it goes from there, and it ends up kind of turning into a saving thing because he has to save his friend from this heist that he started because he wanted to get this technology back that apparently was stolen from Holt.
Okay.
And at the end, someone has a sniper rifle. We don't know who, and it's trained on. Uh, I think it might have been trained on Michael at first. I'm trying to see, but then it ends up shooting the other person, and then we go from there. So what happens? You see him with the visors on too. If you know a bit of his backstory, those visors play a big thing. But they end up shooting Dre, and we go from there. I like this because first off, the art. Well, first off, let me go with the credits because Mr. Terrific Year One. This is Al Letson is on script. Valentin Delandro, who I'm a fan of. Believe Valentin worked on Ghostlight with John Jennings.
Okay.
I believe this is the same artist. I love when I'm looking at art and I can kind of figure. I'm like, oh, I've seen you in this one. I've seen your art in boom, 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 boom. What have you? We have Marissa Lois on colors for a few of the pages, and then we have Edwin Gellman was also on colors as well. Letters is Lucas Satoni, I want to say, and Delandro and Lewis were on the cover. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, Mr. Terrific isn't a character that I've read a lot of, so being able to see this retconning of how he comes to be and where each of and seeing him like kind of develop his T spheres. I
Yeah.
think I kind of like that. I normally don't like. It's funny, when I was a kid, I loved origin series. Now, as I grow older, I don't like them so much because I know pretty much everyone's origin. So when I see a retcon like this that can change little things, make it more modern, it kind of gets my interest. And also the fact of, like I said, it gets more eyes on Mr. Terrific, who may just know him for maybe just Arrow, but now they're
Yeah.
going to be getting him on the big screen. And I think that's going to be closer to the Mr. Terrific that we know, who is the cat, who's like an athlete, like an actual fighter. In Arrow, we didn't get so much of him being an athlete and everything. He was just more of a genius.
Yeah, he was the tech guy.
Exactly. He was the
Um,
guy that was in the chair,
yeah,
but was in the field.
exactly.
And sometimes it just disconnected for me.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say special shout out to Al Letson, another to the point that you were making before, another graduate of the DC Comics
Oh,
talent workshop. I think like in 2016 or 2015. But so this is an example of somebody who did work and went through the program, did the anthology, and is now doing the series. But the dude is very accomplished in his own right, especially with, I know he's written for TV, but he's also done some really good work for NPR,
oh, nice.
for on podcasting. So,
Hmm.
so I've been definitely hyped. We have a mutual friend who's been telling me to to check this out. So
Yeah.
between you and Takia, I need to pick up this first issue and check it out. So
Yeah, it definitely it definitely hits. And like I said, seeing a character that we don't get a lot of, that's one of the things that I will applaud Superman for.
mhm.
Not the Superman for the movie, because that was horrible, but this new Superman movie, what is that? It's bringing characters that you might not know or that you may
Yeah,
know very little about, and elevating them by putting them into a Superman movie.
yeah,
You know, and like I said, getting big screen versions of characters is always cool, and I'm loving this for the actors. I'm loving this for the characters.
mhm.
I'm gonna love this for the creators as well, who I'm hoping get maybe a cameo in there or get
Mhm.
credited in the credits.
Yep.
That's so very important. So I'm excited about this one. So this should be an absolute blast. What else is absolute is Green Lantern #3 out of DC Comics. This is a very DC heavy show, folks. This wasn't intended, but that's just what's coming up. So yes, DC
It's
Absolute Green Lantern.
yeah, it's I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, like, it's been a while since I bought like single or floppies, at least with
Mm,
digital, because I do trades. And when I heard about Absolute Green Lantern, but then also the Green Lantern Corps, they just kind of they've been drawing me, to pick these up,
hmm
on a monthly basis. So I've been patient, I'm practicing patience with picking up the floppies. But Absolute Green Lantern has been it's been it's a surprise, but it's
hmm
also like something that's kind of like scratching this itch, this cosmic horror itch that I didn't know
hmm
that I needed scratched. And so in issue 3, we're coming off the heels of obviously issue 2, which was the issue, at least for me, played out as a catching up occasion between Joe and Hal Jordan of this. And it's kind of like, what do you call it? The ultimate version, kind of the ultimate universe, kind
Yeah.
of DC's ultimate verse. So this, the absolute versions of Joe and Hal, Joe actually catches up with Hal, who has been taken over by this like alien force. I think we're describing it as the Black Hand.
Yeah.
And they're, so in issue 2, she caught up with him, and it's this whole world of the war of the worlds meets like horror type of vibe. So in the third issue, we see we see a flashback, it looks like, to the events of like after, I think his name is Abin Sur, showed
hmm
up to the town that they're in. And this version of John Stewart is there trying to figure out how to get through the barrier that has surrounded this town, this like green energy barrier that Abin Sur has put up. erected, but then also it has trapped the townspeople in this city. So he's trying to figure out kind of what's happening, like in the flashback, and then we go to present day. Hal is still being controlled by this force, and the force tries to attack Joe, and then we finally get this action. We in the previous issues we hadn't seen like Joe go on the offensive, on the offense, but when she does, like my comment here was like Joe is a friggin' boss in this one, because like I said, we're doing this kind of time jumping. So when the bulk of the story is told in the past, and so we start to see the results of John Stewart trying to figure out a way, and I'm just going to say it involves the color yellow, a way to get through this barrier. So one of the things that I also really enjoyed was, like I said, the overall tone of this being like a War of the Worlds, except it's like very self-contained. So you get to see what this invasion has been like for the people that live in this city, live in this town, or like, John is talking about it with one of the other, I think he's a store owner, this a friend of his, and this siege mentality that has happened. And what it reminds me of is I never saw the series, but it was called The Dome. So the Stephen King series where you have this dome. And so now the question is, and I don't want to spoil too much about what happens, but how do you get out of this? So like John Stewart is like, in our universe, he's a very, intelligent dude. He's a architect. He's a military man. But in this, like him breaking down, kind of a solution to the problem that they have is really. And to Al Ewing's credit, like I really enjoyed John Stewart in this. He got a lot more playtime than I think than he had in like maybe the first couple of issues. And this is kind of his issue, even though we do jump back to the present and we see the kind of like the aftermath of what happened, because obviously Hal and Joe got out, and the fact that we are kind of telling the story without completely telling what happened in the town, I'm just enjoying, and it doesn't feel like it's being dragged out. But like I said, Al Ewing he's a boss when it comes to writing, and the artwork is amazing. And Joe, once again, being front and center of the series, because I like that she is now a part of the larger. She's in Green Lantern Corps. She's in the 616 version or Earth Prime of DC Comics, but because I'm such a fan of her, I want her at front and center. Like I love her being a part of the team, but like we all knew her from Far Sector. So having her back at the center of this, even though this is a kind of a lot of people in the cast, is great. And I think she's killing it. But yeah, Janoy Lindsay on the art. I don't have the other credits as far as for like, the colors, the letters, and, everything else, but everybody is killing it in this book. Like between this and Green Lantern Corps, those are the DC books that I'm buying on a regular basis. And I'm enjoying this. I've always been an Al Ewing fan, and he's continuing to bring it with this.
Yeah, Al Ewing delivers continuously. I absolutely love the covers for this series so far. They're absolutely they don't just show like the Green Lantern aspect. Like with a Green Lantern, you need to have a beautiful cover, but they're also showing the horror aspect of it as well. So they're mixing the two of them, and you would never think, hey, you know what, Green Lantern, what genre have we not touched with it? Horror. What? You would not have thought of that. And to bring that together is really cool. I love when you can do kind of a sci-fi horror and still not just be like scary, but also be creepy as hell with it. And these covers definitely do. And Al Ewing has just been, I don't remember what the first thing I read from Al Ewing was, but I just know the minute I read it, I was like, this dude is, and he writes, is Al Ewing black?
No, he's a British guy. He's a white British guy. Like he
writes black characters like
better than, like I know it's sacrilegious, but like I enjoyed his Black Panther in the Ultimates more than he has been written, better than he's been written in certain in other books. So yeah, I think that's what I think I remember him from. I first came across the stuff with the Ultimates.
I mean, it's the Ultimates. He's written. Did he write Storm?
I don't. I'm not
Or
too.
am I thinking? Because I know he did the Mighty Avengers, which was the
Yeah,
Black Avengers team.
yeah,
He's written a lot, and he had this incredible series also, which is called "We Only Find Them When They're Dead"
yeah,
from Boom, about like dead intergalactic
hmm
gods.
yeah,
Like he writes. I every time I see his name, I'm like, and I always want to look. I'm like, is he black? But I don't want to look it up because I don't want to be upset. But I'm like, he writes black characters so well.
yeah,
Like he must have black people around him that he like talks. I don't know if he's his partner or partners are black. I have no idea. But Al Ewing does. Oh, whenever I see, he's one of those names that whenever I see it, I trust
hmm
that. Like I like having that trust in someone and saying, I see you here. You're going to give me a great story. Someday I'm going to like get into what have you. I hope he does
yeah.
more creator owned stuff because his series for Boom was just I was like, and the art was
It was
I'm trying to remember.
beautiful.
The art was
It was beautiful.
I couldn't imagine anyone else doing that art because you had to do space because that was kind of a space opera, kind of like a
Yeah.
space opera, kind of a pirate thing, but also
Mhm.
you have to be able to really get down when you're drawing gods,
Yep.
like literally like huge gods. So I really enjoy it. So yeah, this is yeah, Green Lantern and horror. Wouldn't have thought it, but absolute Green Lantern is giving it to you absolutely, and it's got a lot of soul. What else has soul is Brax soul. Damn, I almost messed that one up. Brax Soul, aka Black Storm. This is from 615 Comics, an indie company that I am a fan of. I've read quite a few of their books, and I dig what they're putting down. So this one, excuse me, this is a kind of an, as I said earlier, this is an origin superhero story, which is funny that I just said I wasn't really into origin stories anymore, but I love them when they're characters that I don't know. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to show me the origin story of Spider-Man, I'm like, unless you're going to retcon something, I'm good. Like MCU did it well.
Yeah.
MCU did it where they reversed everything and out, and by the end, you're like, oh my god, you're like you're almost in tears.
I
So
love
this is an
those.
origin story for a black character. I absolutely the covers are just ridiculous. Like somebody needs to be slapped with a turkey leg. These covers are ridiculous. All right, so we've got Malcolm Yates McFadden is creator and writer. On
Mhm.
interior art, we've got Elijah Anieti. Hope I'm pronouncing these names properly. Ekinia Victor is the colorist. Letter Squids is lettering. The covers are just. I think we actually see some of the cover. Oh no, we don't. Dang. We might at the end. So this is basically, it's an origin story of this kind of icon, superhero. Excuse me, a Superman-esque type character. You know, there's super strong, super fast, cape and everything. Um, and the character is an alien. We find out at the end of the issue, and they were part of a world that was there. There was a war happening,
Mhm.
and the planet actually decided that it was tired of everyone warring and created all these monsters to try and stop the inhabitants of this planet from being at war and killing themselves and killing off everything. And the planet just said, "Forget it," and just exploded. So it's like the planet was almost sentient because you know how nature is. Nature will figure it out.
Yeah.
Nature will find a way eventually. Nature will find a way. Um, so we find out during the origin, and here comes Black Thunder. Unfortunately, they did not make it. Black Thunder comes a little too late, but goes up against this huge alligator or crocodile. I don't know the difference. I'll be honest with you, folks. Type of creature, and we see that some of the powers that a Black Storm has is super strong, super fast, nigh invulnerability, able to project black lightning from his eyes and hands. Um, and it just, I love I love. Sometimes I don't read overpowered characters because they could be boring to me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm actually going to go into reading Superman because I want to read more Superman, especially because there's so much going on in the family and everything. And um, I want to read the series that Jamal Campbell is worked on because it's beautiful. Jesus.
Mhm.
So I wanted to read this, but I love the artwork and the design of the character was beautiful. I was loving the fact that the world's trying to figure out where this alien comes from.
Yeah.
First off, they're trying to figure out what he is as well. So they're all arguing, and it turns out that he's been around Zimbabwe a lot. So Zimbabwe a representative of his council is like, he's not Zimbabwe. We don't know who this is. It's not one of our people. I don't know. We don't all know each other. I don't know where you're getting this from. And they're all talking about, well, we've been tracking him, and he's been around Zimbabwe. Like, he's like, look, I told you, I don't know where he's at. And then the next thing we see is there's this character. I love the absolute design of this character. It's just so beautiful. The character's name is Shelly Kendall Idris, but they call her Sky for short. She's cybernetically enhanced soldier. I love the design. It is absolutely gorgeous. Her on a cover, her own separate series.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Let's do it. I guess. I love the whole ensemble. I have a thing about wings. I think wings on black people, because you don't see a lot of black angels and stuff like that. So I'm seeing that is always cool to me, and I love the color as well. Something 615 does very well with their colors is with pink and purple. They make them very bold. They're almost like crown jewels on the page, which I love. It's a centerpiece, and they do it so incredibly well. I absolutely love that about their comics. It's one of the things that I truly enjoy and love about their comics. So they're sending her to kind of see what's going on and track him, and then the next time we see him, he's actually in Zimbabwe. So it doesn't look good, but it's because he goes to see this young girl there, because he saved her a ways back, and he's been protecting her. So he goes there to check on her, make sure she's okay. So that's why he's always around there. And then she wants him to tell her story. She wants love stories. So he tells her the story of his planet. And you find out about him being an alien and the planet revolting against the people. And the planet's name is Nubius, I believe. And again, you see how the planet, what was it? It has the same look as ours, but a bit different. Where you look at the sea and the earth, well, the land, I should say, it has a different color. Again, you see the way that they're using the pink there. I believe it was pink.
It looks
Yeah, pink, because he actually says, "Oh, the ground was this color," and he actually says it. And I love that. Again, it's a bold choice. It's like, again, that's the centerpiece. That's the crown jewel of that page.
Yeah.
That's a very important thing. And we see the war, and that there were other beings like him, like they were gods on their planet, basically. And he's the last one, allegedly, because sometimes we know how these stories go. Had a great deal of fun with this one. Like I said, the covers make you just want to, like I said, they're absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can get to. I think they had alternate covers at the end. Oh no, this is a preview of issue 2. But even look at some of this art.
Yeah, nice.
It's just, and I love black, like lightning flames, like that look. That's one of the things I love about one of my favorite characters, Hiei, from Yu Yu Hakusho. I always loved that he had the Dragon of the Darkness flame, and you see black flame on his hand, so that kind of brought me back as well. But this was fun. Like good time. I want to see what happens with Sky and these other, I'll call them enhanced people that we're going to have on this planet. I think this is all part of the same universe with 615 comics, which is good because they've got, I think, maybe 3 or 4 comics out, I want to say, and they're all set in the same universe. Then this is about to be a huge throwdown, and if they are going to get a team or something going, I'm definitely in on this. Truthfully, this is going to be awesome.
That looks amazing. Looks pretty awesome.
It's like, I'm not into capes and everything. I mean, no capes, no capes,
no capes.
But when you see a cape done right, like if it's Spawn, I'm going, well, I mean, yeah. If it's Batman, you go, yeah, cape, all right. Superman, I can give or take his cape. Black Storm, I like the cape because I like the whole outfit design. It's cool. So yeah, that's going on, and I love designs like that. Something else that I love is a game, a good game, and we got Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Robert, what the hell is this? Because you actually are like, I didn't know anything about this. So I thought it was a game, a comic, and I was like, I don't think Robert's got the right name.
I will call myself the co-op dude. I love co-ops. Love co-ops. So Marvel Cosmic Invasion is it's essentially a beat 'em up. It's going to be I think 4 to 6 player. Don't quote me on that, but I know at least 4 player co-op beat 'em up where you play as 15 playable Marvel comic book heroes. So far, like the lineup I see includes Spider-Man, Nova, Quasar, Storm, Captain America, um, She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Wolverine, and everybody and their mamas in Venom is in this. So it's done by it's being done by Dotemu. They are the developers behind Streets of Rage 4, which came out a few
Ooh.
years ago, and the TMNT game Shredder's Revenge, which
Mm.
is amazing. Both of those are amazing beat 'em ups, but these are the types of games that take you back to the arcade, where like the X-Men
Yep.
arcade game, or even the Simpsons arcade game, where you could have like up to 4 to 6 players, running a co-op game. But with this one, it looks like they're digging deep into the Marvel lore, to just provide you with a fun button mashing, beat 'em up, good time that you can enjoy with friends. And my hope is that when the game comes out and it's like super popular, it would be the opportunity where you can get other playable characters
Mm.
added in, because I always think that games like this are a really good way to bring in new fans, of the game. Like maybe they're gamers who are just familiar with running beat 'em ups, but they don't know necessarily a lot about the Marvel lore. So this might get them into wanting to learn more about Quasar or Nova or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's been a while since, as far as I know, that we've had a game like this, because I used to run a game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I think there were 1, 2, and 3, and then before that was X-Men Legends. But the latest one from the
Mhm.
Ultimate Alliance series was on Switch, and that's a fun one to run. But the unfortunate thing with that is that it's Switch exclusive, and it's never come over to the other systems, like PC, PS5, or Xbox XS. So it's cool, because I think this one is going to be, it's multi-platform, and hopefully it'll be cross-play, which the other titles
Yes.
that I mentioned have been. So if you're looking for a game where you want to run as and actually even going back further back, Marvel had this at the arcade. They had an Avengers beat 'em up that was at the arcade, and a
Hmm.
Punisher beat 'em up, where you could run as Punisher and Nick Fury, as a
Had
co-op.
the
So
X-Men one too.
exactly, and the
That
X-Men one
old
too.
one with Jean Grey wearing like the yellow mask and the green
Yep.
like mini skirt outfit. Yep.
Exactly. From like the 70s and 80s
Hmm.
team. So this looks to be epic, over the top. You saw the gameplay with that was just a reveal that She-Hulk and Rocket were going to be on the squad, and you're just beating up a bunch of aliens, using the super abilities. So I'm looking forward to it. It would be great if, like, in the future, we got like Monica and Rambeau, um, America. My dream is to have all the characters from the Ultimates, and then you could run the game
Ooh.
as those. So the roster is deep for them to pull from. And the cool thing about, especially with TMNT Shredder's Revenge, they have that DLC where they introduce like new characters that you could download, for the future. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I'm hyped. There's not a release date, unfortunately, but it's supposed to come out this year. So hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, I think this was just revealed this weekend, the trailer, that you ran. So we'll see.
This looks like a lot of fun. And this is going along with the news of also the Marvel fighting game, which is
Yeah,
Marvel
yeah.
Dokkan Fighting Spirits. So having the two of these is great. I love a beat 'em up. I
Hmm.
was a huge fan of obviously the Marvel Ultimate Alliance and the X-Men Legends.
Yeah.
The only game I can think of that had Bishop in it,
Mm, wow.
and
Damn.
I played as Bishop continuously. Bishop
Yeah.
and Iceman were my two of like my constants because Bishop could absorb everything, and
Hmm.
Iceman, you know how some of the characters would jump or some could fly. He
Yeah.
actually did his ice
Give it the
like
slide.
slide
Yeah.
around, and I was like, "That's so cool!" I loved it. Didn't use Wolverine because it was too easy. If you use Wolverine, you were a cheater because he healed from everything. Boring. It's boring. Yeah, but this looks incredible. I love the 2D like a few people like you included got me into, and I ended up I don't know if I bought or if it was part of PlayStation, I can't remember, where I got Streets of Rage 4,
Okay. Yeah.
and I was playing it and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like that old school feel. Like I don't have to look
Hmm.
for stuff, I don't have to back, I don't do missions. No, it's just kick that guy in front of you,
Just
then
punch.
watch out for this dude behind you because he got a knife. Yeah, just like that. Like you like pick up this big bowl of
Yep.
ramen to get your health up. Pick up this. It was just really cool. So I love that film. Sometimes you just need a game like that. I hope it is crossplay. That would be so much fun and so awesome. And yeah,
Yeah.
I hope there is like an option where the game is popular enough where they'll have a season pass where you'll get
Yes.
like this
Yes.
package. You'll
Hmm.
get like the X-Men package. You'll get
Yep.
the ultimate package. You'll get like all those different teams. The Spirits of Vengeance package. What have
Yes.
you? They're
Yeah.
probably gonna name their packages that. You're welcome, Marvel. Obviously, again, I'm doing all the heavy lifting for you guys. Seriously, it's crazy, but it looks like a lot of fun. I love the bright, bold colors as well.
Hmm.
And doing a great reveal, having Rocket and She-Hulk. I think that's a great reveal to put out there.
Yeah.
The usual, oh, we got Captain America and we got Cyclops, Wolverine. No, show us characters that you would not think of because
Exactly.
Rocket is cool and so is She-Hulk. So that's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm highly excited by that. That is awesome. So folks, that's all of the reviews and news that we have. But I have a take on something I'm going to tell you real quick because I'm not going to put a lot of energy into it. I'm going to put just enough energy into it. So last week we had the World to Come comic come out from Marvel. And it was basically like an alternate future. Alternate future. Remember how I said the alternate future? And it's from Priest and Casada, co-wrote it. So it gives you like time stamps, like this is 8 years before it happened. This is 6 years, whatever. Did you read it, Robert?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, if you need to spoil something, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
no, that the biggest spoiler was already said.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it is interesting because it's basically it's a story of T'Challa is dying or dead, and you find out he has a son, and you wonder who the son is by, and they show him in his marriage with Storm, then they show him in a marriage with Monica.
Mhm.
Monica's pregnant, so you're like, oh, so go through this whole thing, and at the end of the issue, it turns out that um, T'Challa's son, Kameda, I think his name is white, or at least half white, because but you don't know what's going to happen because honestly, because of the time jumps. Because you know how priest writes sometimes with time jumps does that. So that's how the story goes. They could be doing a swerve with this. He could be half. He could be adopted. He could be Hunter's son for all I know. Has anybody seen Hunter lately? Fine, whatever. Um, Here's the thing. Okay, so this is for the creators. You know I love y'all. Some of y'all were talking about in your posts. You say I don't care, but nobody asked me. But here's my opinion. Okay, first off, man, we got to stop doing those. I thought those posts died a long time ago. Stop doing posts like, oh well, I mean, everybody's asking my opinion. Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody has ever had to ask a straight cisgendered man his opinion. He'll give it to you ad nauseum. Just say, hey, this comic and this is my opinion. Just do that. Stop with that BS. Stop. Secondly, I don't care. But then you make a post about it and you find emojis and you find pictures and you do so. Just say, hey, this is my opinion, whatever. Comics are threefold. They are a business, they are a medium for storytelling, and they are art. There are those three things. Business, you're getting money, it's your job, you're doing whatever with it, cool, it's fine, what have you. Medium wise, you're telling a story through words, through colors, through art, through colors, lettering, everything. Beautiful. And um, and it's art in written form and visual. Art's supposed to be felt. It's supposed to be either adored or feared or what have you, but it's supposed to be felt. That's the whole point of art. It makes you feel something, whether it makes you want to fall in love, whether it makes you want to root for the hero, whether it makes you want to make a sandwich because you see the character making something, or it makes you want to laugh, whatever it is. So stop saying I don't care, then making this post. You made a post, so you obviously care. And it's okay because that's your business, that's your medium, and that is the art that you love. So it's okay to have that effect. Stop saying I don't care, then making this long ass post. That shows that you do care. You're invested. You're invested in the character Black Panther. We all are. Whether you read his stuff or not, we are. Whether you're invested because you used to read him as a kid, you have a Black Panther t-shirt, or because of Chadwick, you are invested. It's cool. It's okay. And if you don't like the story that he's in, you're invested. You don't like that story. It's okay to say, hey, I don't like the story because it's what have you, boom, boom, boom. But let me remind you of something. They can do whatever they want and they can make his son a spotted albino cockatoo from New Zealand. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because that's a gotcha tactic. And it worked for people. Oh, there goes because everybody was hate talking about hate, so people went and bought it. So that was. But you know what? Your work stands at that gate. Your work is the thing that stands there and says, "Nah, this ain't gonna do it." It's a gotcha tactic. We got it. Cool, great, what have you. But your work is the thing that'll stand the test of time. Your work is what will be there. Your work will be iconic. Your work will be, again, I'm going to pull another Doctor Who reference, a fixed point in time. Whether it is Changa, whether it is Isnana, whether it is Okamus, whether it is Crescent City Monsters, whether it is Luna, whether it is, I'm just pulling every comic out of my head right now possible, any of them, whether it is A Mind to Avenge, whether it is whatever,
Yeah.
whether it is, your work stands the test of time. So yeah, that's cool, what have you. But I want you to focus on what you're doing because your work is awesome. It's needed and it's there for us. It is your business. It is your storytelling medium, and it is art. And we love it for so many different reasons. So if that upsets you, I understand. It's cool, what have you. You're invested in the character. That's great. I dig it. But stop with those posts. Like even at a certain point, I like in a post, I was like, yeah, I saw this, and then I was like, I'll pass. But I already bought the comics. So you know what? No, I am a geek culture analyst and reviewer. I've already bought it. Let me read it so I can get a full sense of the story.
Yeah.
And I get a full sense of the story. And I'm not going to say I don't care, because obviously I did, because I read it and I'm giving you this now. I do care because I care about the character. And I'm invested, and it's art, and art made me feel something. It's okay. That's what it does. So if you don't like it, that's cool. You ain't got to read it. You good. They come up with the next issue. Don't read it. Walk right by it and keep telling me about your comic, your novel. That's what I want to hear about. That's what I want to know about. That's what we do here at TBA News and the Hungry Bleak. This is your platform. That was there. Cool. Whatever. I'm not going to read any more of it because I'm sure there's going to be some type of twist or whatever he's going to. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of those other issues. I care about when's your comic coming out? When's that Kickstarter coming out? What's the pledge that'll best suit me? Am I going to get a digital? Am I going to get a physical? That's what matters to me. Do you have a pen? Matter of fact, because I need pens for my bag. You matter. Your work matter. Your art matters. Your stories matter. That's what I care about. Keep telling your stories and let that go by the wayside.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. And that's all I got to say about that. And now I'm done. All right. So folks, look, we're gonna jump out of here in a couple of minutes, but Robert, this man right here, is gonna be out here in these here streets.
In the streets.
Well, not in the streets, but you know.
Going to the streets.
Yes.
Yes.
This work is for the streets.
This work is for the streets. Yes, yours truly will be at Urban Pop Comics Company and Art Gallery in Ackworth, Georgia.
Awesome.
This Saturday. I will have comics to autograph and to sign. It feels weird saying autograph. It's weird. It just is. But the newest, we've talked about it. We talked about this on the show. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about it. Steam Superheroes. I have copies of that. I will have copies of my DC work, and actually plenty of copies of my work with 133 Art. Shout out to Jason and Kimmy Reeves and Milton Davis and the whole squad over with 133 Art and MV Media. But Urban Pop Comics is a awesome store. I've held a signing there before in the area of Ackworth, and the cool thing is the city is very supportive of the store. Like I when I did my first signing, I looked up on like the city of Ackworth's like Instagram page, and they were like signing with Robert Jeffrey, and I was just like, whoa, this is pretty cool. But that's how they treat that store. Like and that's when we've talked about this before. Support your LCSs if you can, however you can, by word of mouth or by purchasing. But it's good to see that the area is supportive of their business. And this is actually, they've moved into a new location since the previous place. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new spot and meeting people and selling some books. But yeah, I will be there on the June 14th. Go to their website, urbanpopcomics.com, if that's the way to, if that's the website. And come out and meet yours truly. My goal is to at least do a signing or a convention once a month, over the
Nice.
summer. So far, April, May, June. Yeah, so far I'm good to go. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I will be there selling books. So head on down if you can. I mean, if you want to fly out of state, that's cool. I just say if you do, just buy a bunch of comics. So it could have been worth the hundreds of dollars you spent on the the plane ticket. But if you're realistically in Metro Atlanta, just head out to Ackworth, Georgia, and check us out.
Outstanding. This is going to be awesome. I like that you have that goal of doing like an event like at least like once a month
Mm-hmm.
and getting out. I like that goal a lot.
Thanks.
Just being out there, more people getting out there. The time of year, I mean, the weather hopefully is going to be beautiful. So yeah, this should be a really cool event. And I hope that it gathers so many people there, which would
Yeah.
be awesome. So y'all go and check this out. As for myself, I'm not as cool as Robert.
I don't know about that.
I will not be doing any signings or autographs. I probably would never do, even if I had something out there, I probably would not, because first off, I'd have to figure out a signature for y'all, and I'm not. That's just too much work and pressure. I'm gonna be real. That's way too much. Um, but this weekend, I will be at the Schomburg Center. They're celebrating 100 years of the Schomburg Center. Their centennial. They're going to be having like this big, cool like festival where they're going to be blocking off the street. It's going to be outside. They're going to have panels on the inside as well. There's going to be one for Iyanu, which I definitely want to check out and
Yay.
see. But they're going to they're going to have like a screening. And a fireside chat with Roy Okupe, which should be awesome. But you'll also be able to check out the actual Schomburg Center. Inside they've got a beautiful shop, and they have so many beautiful exhibits of everything. But they'll also have their exhibitors outside, up in those streets. Getting there, you just have to register on the website, but it is free. If you choose to give a donation, obviously you can, or if you're there and you go into a shop, you can buy. But you'll have all these vendors out here doing their thing. You'll have artists and writers, just out here doing everything. You probably have like crafts as well.
Nice.
I went to one a few years ago and absolutely loved it. I wasn't able to stay the whole day, unfortunately, just because I had 2 prior engagements. But yeah, I love the event, so I'm hoping it's going to be a beautiful day. Get out there, and see us do us in
Yeah.
those streets and seeing the beautiful creative. I love seeing anything like that with us just out there. The community is so beautiful and the culture is so incredible. So seeing that always makes my heart feel good. So yes, the Schomburg, it is in Harlem, on a Malcolm X. I believe, I don't know what street they're gonna. I think I can't remember what street they actually cut off last time. I know it wasn't Malcolm X, because that would be you can't cut that off. But they did cut off. I want to say that's the side street, but it was like, there was a lot of room. So many beautiful things out there. So yes, please go and check it out if you can. Like I said, it is free. Just go to the Schomburg website and register. Get your tickets. Great family event as well. School's out for most of us, I want to say, at this point. I think maybe, I honestly don't know. I
Pretty
haven't
much.
been in school quite. Yeah, I haven't been in school quite a while. I have no idea. But it's going to be a Saturday anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Actually, come to think of it. So enjoy that. That will be a great event. And folks, that is the show for today. You got reviews. You got a video game trailer that looks awesome. You got my 2 bits on something that I'm actually not even thinking about anymore. And you're told about these incredible events where Robert is going to be doing a signing at, what is the name of the shop again, Robert?
It is Urban Pop Comics Company. I think it's Urban Pop Comics, and I will confirm that. But in Ackworth, Georgia. So I think it's URBN Pop Comics.
Outstanding. And I will be roaming around the streets in Harlem. That doesn't actually sound right, but it's fine. For the Schomburg Centennial, I will be out there. If you see me, say hi and let me know what you think of whatever is happening and going on. And that is the show, folks. This Friday, The Hungry, wrapping up the week this Friday. The Hungry Bleak show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time we'll have a special guest, Omar Malik of Blacktooth Publishing. Gonna have him on there. Awesome. I met him last year at New York Comic Con, and I got hit up by an email. And I said, "Hey, let's make this happen. Cool, what have you?" So that's gonna be awesome. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have that going. Then next week, we're doubling up on you. We're gonna have again Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to have TBA news, gaming, and anime on Monday. We're going to have comics culture, myself and Robert again on Wednesday. And Friday, we're going to have another episode of the Hungry Bleak show at 7 p.m. And then the week after that, we were going to have our Geek Culture Upfronts episode where we're going to be talking about what we're excited to see in July. We've got our stuff down. There's a lot going on this summer, and I'm happy about it. It's cool. So yeah, that's the show. As always, I'll put the schedules up. I'll have some nice music behind it to make you feel really relaxed when you go and hit your reminders and notifies and everything like that. That's it. So myself, I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. Take that however you want. And with me as always,
it is Robert J, writer extraordinaire. Is that what you wanted?
Yes.
Extraordinaire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I almost got like a DMX vibe because it feels like, is that what you want? I was about to be like, Robert about to get real. It's all been a sham, folks. Robert about to take y'all down now.
Hell is hot. Hell is hot.
That is.
That's the most, right? Yeah. Extraordinaire. No,
I can't top that at all, folks. You have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of it. Be safe. Drink water, and remember, as always, F Trump. See ya.